miss that. Okay, now we're live.
That's all.
All right.
So
Hi now. Okay, hi, I'm so excited.
we saved the hug for everybody who's watching.
Yeah.
We're like, oh my god, wait, let's film it. Let's film it.
Yeah, yeah, because you just got here, and so so we're gonna do a few minutes each, of, like check in, and I just want to say, like, so cute today. Like, I love your hair. It's so different than I feel like I remember. Your outfit's like so sassy and cute.
Thank you. I'm loving the haircut. You took off a couple of inches, and I'm like, how did I? When it gets long, you don't notice, but I love it.
Right. And someone reminded me then that would have been like 4 years ago of growth. And so there was an 8-month period 4 years ago. And I thought about that. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, that was a suck ass time. So
we're cutting it off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I feel so much lighter. Okay. Now let's do our check in. Would you like to go first?
Wait, let's do 3 deep breaths.
Okay.
I'm really excited. I'm gonna calm down, otherwise my neck's gonna be bulging the entire time.
Thanks for remembering that.
Thank you. Rear part, whatever part of the brain that brings up those automatic habits, because we did it last time and I'm used to doing it so many times now that it automatically pops up. Ba-bing! That is, I feel short. I'm going to sit up a little bit.
Your chair might be slightly shorter than mine.
I'm also slightly shorter than you on the torso. Win-win.
Is our hair the same length? Okay, so I'm sorry.
Oh.
Damn. I can't remember what you were saying, please.
Oh, I lost it too. Welcome to the art of processing.
Yeah.
Check-ins. We were talking about check-ins. Look, see? Oh, good job, Corinne. Yeah.
Oh, you were talking about how the habits are coming up more readily now. That's what you were saying.
And that was awesome because it brought us back while we went off on a fun tangent. Yeah. So, check-ins. I'm going to throw a little 5-minute timer on there just to look at stuff. Where am I? Oh, where am I? I'm here. We're in the cozy cave. Cozy. It's so warm. I woke up this morning being scared shitless of moving into a place that might be colder temperature than my current house.
And it's cold out there now.
It is, and what's been interesting, it's like I started to prioritize comfort because I don't usually do that. And I think it's not like we want to over prioritize it. I think it's all about getting into balance. If we can get into balance of the sense of like, okay, I need some discomfort to get me into something different versus I need some comfort because my nervous system's shot. It's not all one or the other. So I'm leaning more in the balance of I'm not comfortable. So now I'm what is comfortable, and my temperature in the house has been like 72 degrees and I feel like I'm in the jungle and I walk around naked and it's fabulous and I'm just like, this is so nice to have. And so my mornings this whole week I've been getting up at 7:30. I started doing one of the things that are motivating is having an accountability like buddy, but it's like a stranger. I am disappointed. I feel more comfortable telling a friend, look, I can't make it versus a stranger that I signed up for a class that would suck to cancel if it's less than 24 hours. I think you and I have like we can adjust, which is great. And the mornings have been the hardest, especially if I try to do them with friends. Because it's like, no, I need my morning or I go up way later. So it was Eventbrite looking up for free classes. And so I'm like, oh, I did a Reiki class and I learned about Reiki, and I know I'm going to send you the link to this stuff because it's been really cool. We'll put that in the show notes because I have a lot of resources and I think I've been trying to collect them and be more organized. That's awesome. Yeah, it's waking up slowly. The pace of pleasure is totally the theme for me this new year, and figuring out what that means. So like when I am comfortable in my body, I am less disconnected. I notice I'm less wanting to distract myself with either some sort of craving like food or numbing. I've been numbing with YouTube and Netflix and Instacrack and Facecrack. That should be a thing. It probably is if we Googled it.
Probably
It
is,
would happen.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody gets it, what you're getting at. Picking up what you're putting down.
You're picking it up and we're putting it down and we're picking up. We're sometimes putting it over on another shelf because it looks better. I'm going to throw open my journal real quick and see what else. So yeah, that's kind of been my week. This entire week I have this is beautiful. This is a moon chart.
Ooh,
really
lovely.
simple. This is from a local artist in Portland. I don't remember her name. I'll figure it out and I'll put it in the show notes. And then I have my beginning. It's called Hot Damn. It's 2023. Keep making higher choices. I promise, even with resistance, fear, perceived judgment, anticipated pain, perfectionism, and other shit that comes up, I will continue to be with it by being with all of it. I wrote that word. Because I want to. I really want to. What's underneath some of the wants of like wanting chocolate or to run away or to hide on YouTube and not go to sleep is like a want for comfort and protection. So it's really getting underneath these wants. Yeah. One of the things I've been doing, go to grocery stores and figuring out, I really want this. I have a craving for like chocolate covered pretzels. And I'm like, do I want those chocolate covered pretzels? And so I sit with that and I'm like, no, I want nuts. And then it's really cool. I'm finding out what I really want. Because I had a hard time. If I'm not with my body, it's hard to hear my wants and desires. I don't have enough space because everything was frantic before. So it's weird kind of doing that. Especially when my natural habit is to go back into frantic mode. So going to grocery stores, I ask myself, do I really want this? And then if it does say yes to the chocolate covered pretzels, I'm like, oh, it's a fuck yes. Yeah. That way I'm learning what my yeses and nos are like. And I realize it needs a little bit more time and space, especially because these protectors in me come up. These protectors that are like avoidance or, it feels icky. I don't want to feel it. Like I have these kind of automatic systems that are protecting me. So anyway, I can go in more in depth, but not really. There's lots of things I've been tracking. Look at all these notes, drawing and stuff. This is I'll put it up for the camera. Good, yeah. This is this is how I track all the shit that I'm doing.
We should compare habit trackers at some point. I've totally done this in my bullet journal.
Right? This is like my second attempt at bullet journal. So it's a constantly mini adjusting, and it's okay to scratch it out, change it, and redo it. So I'm allowing myself to be that mess and slow the fuck down is the theme. Same artist who did the moon thingy. Yeah, so that's me. Okay. Ta-da! I did it. 5 minutes and 20 seconds.
Can we do like 1 to 2 minutes of like back and forth about that? Okay. So as you can tell, I was writing stuff down, and partly because I didn't want to repeat everything, but I wanted to say like pretty much everything you said. Is it okay if I put my knee on
because
you?
I like the facial.
I'm trying to get a little
but we're trying to do a 3/4 view so you can see us too. Yeah. You're included. Yeah.
Yeah, like almost everything you talked about, the themes, I was like, wow, I talked with my therapist about that, or I talked with my friend about that, or someone, else just talked about it, or like all of these are so present, so up, for a lot of people. And even the waking up slowly, like that, I literally talked with my therapist about that yesterday. Really? And I feel a lot of grief because due to work and school requirements, my whole family, I think, would have benefited from slow mornings back when I was married and my kid was small, but that wasn't available. Like school starts at a certain time, work starts at a certain time, and it degraded us. It was so difficult. And I was just feeling so much grief for like enforcing that fucked up system.
Yeah.
Especially now that I've created a whole life around slow mornings and prioritizing self-time during the morning.
Well, you're letting that grief out. That's a big one.
Yeah, that's good. It was with my therapist, so it's a little more supportive.
Isn't it nice when it's with the therapist? You're like, okay, the timing was actually good here. Thank you. Thank you, body.
I'm going to put this down a wee bit.
I got a bear.
It's so cute. Okay, so anything else, or do you feel complete with your?
I like that humming noise. I'm going to end with that.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you for the reflection. I always love when we're doing wonderful
sync
stuff together.
Yeah. Okay. So reset. All right. So how am I? Well, I am really trying to take to heart that the message I keep receiving, act, especially if it's an inspiration that's come back again and again. Quit waiting,
Mm.
so many astrologers and kind of intuitives, like Harris, is that his
Mhm.
name? Yeah.
The Harris show.
Like just so, and Kyle Cease too. He's like come a long way in the past few years. Like I would say beginner Kyle Cease fans should go back to like years ago because right now he's like way out there.
I
But
don't even know this
he's
person, so
awesome.
I'm
But
excited to check him out.
yeah, maybe I think what I'd like to really do is I want to restart with the shit suit video that Sophia and I made because it was based
Ooh.
on a Kyle Cease concept.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I linked the video where he talks about it in there. Maybe I don't know. Anyhow, where am I at? So I'm putting into place all those things that I've been planning to, or they just keep coming up. And so even if it's totally imperfect or not quite what I wanted, I've created the space where I can go somewhere where almost nobody's paying attention, which is art processing. And I can do my first draft there, like I can with minimal risk, like eventually people might watch it, maybe, but it by then I won't care. Like right now I'm practicing going live. I'm practicing like organizing my thoughts a little bit, not over structuring, getting online, going through the steps to get online. Like all of that requires repetition, repetition, repetition.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also getting the opportunity to notice how the consistent practice of ever improving in my scheduling, in my like morning routine, in like how realistic I am, how much I rest, like as I continue to improve in all of those areas, like I see the results,
Mm.
And so kind of like we were talking sort of about this earlier, where there comes a point where your nervous system is finally calmed enough that you're out of survival mode, and creative ideas start to come up a little easier. Like they bubble to the surface, and they're not quite as dark.
Mhm.
I notice when I'm in a dark place, like even my photos are darker. I can kind of see a whole theme in my photo albums of like, wow, I
Oh,
was depressed then. Everything's dark.
that's a really cool pattern finding right there. That's awesome. Oh my
Yeah.
god. Look at your tracking.
So yeah, and so that's another way. And also the thing that I've really not been successful with over the past year is pretty much the whole year I've had on my calendar weekly review last week's notes, make a plan for this week. And that's one thing that I just have not been able to consistently do. And I definitely see the results of that shit too.
Mm-hmm.
And as I step back, you go, okay, but that's where I was at the time. That's where it was at that time of the creative process. I didn't have the capacity to like hold that completely at the time that it was, and desire always frequently like outpaces capacity.
Yep.
So like in relationships, the desire to hang out pretty much always outpaces when you're actually available. Desire to do a project, it kind of goes, oh, here's the idea. It has to come back a couple of times before it's filled out enough for you to even put it into language, I think.
It's like you see a person, all you got was a shoelace, and you're like, okay, that's all I could contain this time, and that's okay.
And more details fill in, each time. And
Yeah.
So like giving myself space for like that's natural, that's normal, like this
Yes.
pace that I've adopted as natural has didn't come from nature.
No, that's a huge one I'm on.
So the past year I've been watching the seasons. I've been like trying to follow the seasons a bit more carefully. Like in the fall, I intentionally like released and did fire ceremonies for myself, and that kind of stuff. And in the winter, I'm like, okay, slow down. Don't get up early in the morning. Reduce the number of hours I'm driving. Make sure to leave plenty of like open space. Those are kind of my priorities. Not always doing that, but at least I'm orienting towards that.
Yes, that is a big step.
Yeah, just for additional layers removing of barriers. And there was a specific note that I wrote down that I was like, really excited. No, I don't know where I wrote it down, so it doesn't matter. But I'm getting closer and closer to like even knowing where to put my notes, because it's such a drama that, so many people will just have notebooks, notebook, so many notebooks. And so finally, when I did this, oh my God, it's so common. I got, a 3-subject notebook, and on each like first page, I added a little tabby, and then like what that section's about. So
I like it.
I have like, you're in this section, house and pet sitting clients are in this section. Here's like business meetings with particular people,
cool.
or like just ideas about women's circle or house meeting. Like, so it's kind of loosely organized.
So it's like 7-ish, not
Well,
less
it depends.
than 10.
It depends. Yeah, definitely less than 10. It just kind of depends on how many notes I might do about any particular topic. I want to make sure that I'm trying to pace so that the notebook kind of gets used up at roughly the same pace. Like, see, this section has a lot fewer pages used, so that means I could add more stuff to this section. And so it's kind of like a bullet journal in that you just sort of say, like, these are the pages that the stuff's on, Anyway, so I've been saying, put tabbies on things and only have one notebook. One notebook. But what I've added to that is this is the moon-based cycle. So I've been doing this almost a year too. So I've been learning this stuff. This is the Moon Site Lunar Guided Planner, which is something that can be bought on Amazon. And it does include free training to learn how to use it. Cool. Like, she puts her website in here somewhere. See, how do I use this planner? Here's free access to this section of her moon school. And it's pretty dense. There's a lot of info even in this free content.
That's awesome.
So yeah, the journal, what I'm doing with the journal is I'm not using each page as like for my to-dos and stuff. Like, each page has sections, really useful sections, and it says like, hey, we're in Avoid and Virgo and Earth energy today. And eventually you kind of learn, oh, Earth energy, these are the kind of tasks I do, and oh, fire energy, these are the kind of tasks I do. And so when I'm doing a daily and I'm actually using it as a daily, then I leave it open. Mm-hmm. If I've gotten past that date, then I write notes like crazy. So every page gets filled up with notes.
I like how big the notes are. Yeah. That you do that. It's like a free flowing, but also having some structure to jump off of.
Totally. Yeah. And so I try to title like with dates at least, so that I have some sense of when I was having these ideas.
Yeah.
And so now I'm going to have a lot of like self ideas in here. And then this is like all my other people and projects. So
cool.
This is my brain, and this is my business brain.
Oh, I like that. Ooh.
So I'm very excited about that, and that's coming together more and more. It's been a process and evolution. Yeah, let's see how much time I've been talking. I don't know.
My timer went out.
Okay. I better wrap up.
Fabulous. Mm-hmm. That's fabulous.
So yeah, just benefiting from all of those things, and benefiting from pharmaceuticals, which I had resisted for a really long time, and I don't want to use them forever, but goddamn, they're helpful right now.
They're helping you not only function, but thrive and actually do some creative stuff and stuff that you've been wanting to do. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, and it's giving me the ability to recommit to my routine that I know benefits me, like yoga and eating pretty well, and like figuring out how to sleep more than a couple of hours a night. And yeah, it gives me the capacity to do that. And so when I'm planning my life out, I'm like, ooh, I could plan stuff between 8 a.m. and like 6 p.m. And it could be self-care, it could be work stuff, but I've got that big chunk of time that I can do stuff, because I have the capacity to do that now, because I've built the capacity through the repetition of the routine and in the food and the medication and all that.
That's so much to figure out. Like, are you feeling complete? Any more things that are coming up? I realized I interrupted you a couple of times, so I want to work on that.
Well, yeah, I think we both kind of do that. I think the only reason that I interrupt slightly less is because I've had so many calls with like Piper and Laura and a handful of other people where we've gotten to the point we don't interrupt each other anymore. But I definitely interrupt women than like some of those other friends.
Yeah, I've gotten better.
Yeah, I want to talk about this kind of concept that I'm looking for like kind of an empty page. I don't have an empty page. Okay. So I have this idea about conversation threads. And so like, here's the river of the conversation, but each time we take a break and like for a different conversation thread, it kind of like diverts the river, So here's like a conversation thread and it just gets more and more chaotic as we take more and more like diversions.
Can I show you a visual that I actually have of an app on here that literally does that? Okay, so this happens all the fucking time.
When we think about the same thing.
Or we're working on the same stuff, like all the stuff that you shared. I'm just like, oh my God, just getting your basics met and then being able to see what happens after years of trying to figure it out and get help and then have shit come your way. It's like, oh my God, that's why progress is a chaotic fucking roller coaster, just like how nature is. It's fucking crazy. It's fucking crazy shit. And then we've got all this bullshit and as well that's just like kind of in the telling us that we're not good enough or bad. And that is such a big thing to work through and move over, especially I think with finding our rhythms and flows. I'm like, oh, I need more time before I would shame myself for not being able to just go into work and work 9 hours a day, like 9 days a week kind of thing. It's a simple mind. It is called a mind map.
Sweet.
This is mine so far. You can't see it, so that's why it's like that.
Yeah, I don't know how to. You don't really want to focus it. It gives the idea. Most people probably have. I mean, anyone who's had experience as a project manager or probably a few other kind of ways would have seen this before. But this is such a cool concept.
Not only that, it's got like where is it? No, that's not.
And this is this an iDevice?
This is an iPad. Yes.
Okay. So this is an Apple.
This is an Apple thing. I minimized so much stuff, but yeah, it's got.
What's it called again?
It is called Simple Mind. I think it's like $10 for life kind of thing. And I have one that's desires, values, interfacing with moi. Nice. So this is all of my stuff trying to work through different concepts, and then I forget about it. I'm like, having an old employer contact me, like all the stuff that I forgot about. Like yesterday I took a lot of shit on, and I'm like, oh, what did I just completely forget about that I did an hour ago? And now I'm trying to do something else. And now I signed up for something else. Wait a minute, Corinne. We've been down here before. And now I have this little thing inside of me that's like, oh, hey, Corinne, look what, instead of beating ourselves up, we're going to encourage ourselves and congratulate ourselves for noticing. And that's huge. I'm learning how to encourage myself. Like we both are. It's like we're both naturally getting softer by understanding and processing this. God, it's a giant fucking mess, which is why it's complicated and there's no one size fits all. But I love how we're in the flow.
And this was in our notes meeting from the last meeting. Baby steps. Slow the fuck down. Doubling time you need.
Look at that wonderful reminder right there. Coming back to it. Like, that's when I'm shifting instead of being like, oh, I'm here again. I'm here again. It takes me sometimes 500 times. It took me 9 times to quit smoking.
That's why it's an upward spiral.
That spiral. And now we're coming back around. You said 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I saw a picture from Guatemala right before the pandemic happened. And it's just like, oh my God, I'm at the same spot. I felt so capable of doing art and workshops. And now that capability and that same feeling of being able to do it has come back. But in a whole nother way. Like I really needed a lot of stuff to work on this entire time. Oh, what a shit show. Anyway, I'm glad I went through it. I'm glad you went through it. Okay, I'm done. Thank you.
So, all right. So how would you like to wrap up this particular segment?
Ooh,
do you have ideas?
I'm like, I can't fart on command. No. That's true. It would have to be outdoors or something with the wind going in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you have any ideas?
No, I think because maybe it's because we both feel pretty complete with our check-in. That's why we're like, I don't know how to end it. But so I guess maybe we I don't know, end with 3 deep breaths and then I'll end the stream. And then if we feel like coming live again with one of our other ideas, then we'll do that.
Ooh, something did pop up. I'm curious. We were going through our notes. The idea of to close off, I want to, if we can say one or multiple things about this past year or past 4 years that we're proud of ourselves for, and then one or multiple things going forward into this year as like an intention. I don't like goals anymore. Now it's intentions.
Yeah.
So how does that sound?
Yeah. And we're setting about the same time limit for each thing, like, or
Yeah,
are we trying to get it to a couple minutes? I mean, I just wanted to make
I
sure
was thinking like just 2 minutes, something
2
short.
minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that sound good?
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for asking me.
Yeah.
And I love knowing like, oh, there's expectations.
Yeah.
That was in my head. We weren't. Yeah.
Yeah. And also kind of knowing like knowing that we won't get everything, you know. I always feel like I gotta be complete. So okay. All right.
I love that you stated that. I just want to say that. Yes, thank you.
What are some of the things I'm proud of? Man, so how many years ago? What year was 4 years ago? 2018, right? Okay, perfect. 2018 started with me saying it would be totally irresponsible for me to continue my life as I've been living it because it's a fucking dumpster fire, and I need help. I need outside help, and that might not be the first coach I ever hired. I think I did start working with a health coach before that. But yeah, I was like, who can show me a whole different way of this? And I learned a lot, and it started the ball rolling. And that was soon after I'd started going to retreats, and like authentic relating retreats, and like getting to know myself and shedding so many fucking layers of shit suit. And recovering from the previous years that were hell, holding on while I was still in hell, for quite a bit. And both my daughter and I were just in hell, in a lot of ways. So since then, now there's this huge evolution. Like, she's been living on her own for a while, a little earlier than I'd hoped, but I understand, why she did it. She's taking super good care of herself now. She only asks for my help now and then, and also doesn't get to like crisis state before she asks for help anymore.
Nice.
So that's nice. So there's been some pretty deep lows, some pretty good highs, but a lot of deep lows. And spring of 2020 until like fall of 2022 continued to be extraordinarily difficult, and so much clearing. And now I understand, as I look back, based on what I know now, is I had to do that. It was really intense. I never would wish that level of intensity on anyone, but it's also stuff that I can't carry with me forward. I have to clear it before I can truly move forward and step into my power and step into my like projects that have been percolating for years now. And I used to give myself shit about, I haven't done anything on that yet, so I'm a failure. When really it's just like, no, they're still percolating. They're still coming to a point where I can bring it into the physical, if you start too soon on shit, it's just it's too messy. So yeah, clearing that stuff, now getting to this space of like, wow, I really am in completely different friendships, completely different, like, romantic relationship that would not have, none of these things would have been available to me from who I was and how I started at the beginning of 2018. Yeah. My friends now, we wouldn't have gotten along. My partner now, we wouldn't have even wanted to know each other. I mean, yeah. So my external reality now reflects more and more of my internal reality, and less of the like painful internal reality, but more the like the based on love kind of reality is what I'm experiencing more and more. And that's lovely. Yeah. So that's that.
Cool. I curious if you wanted to say what your intention was for the new year, if it was coming in a word or
really, I think it's probably consistency and balance.
Hell yeah.
And identifying that for myself. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for keeping track of time.
I love that. That was just a beautiful flow. So I was like, we got to keep going with that. It was gorgeous. Thank you. Of course, I resonate so much. It's so funny to actually hear, because I witnessed a lot of it. I lived with you during some of the hell times. And you helped me through my hell times. We both were in hell together. Oh, thank you for being back together. Thank you for being in hell with me. Oh, you did. You were the first person to really show me that not everybody's afraid of me, and that I don't need to be afraid of myself. So that was a huge.
And I don't think that could have happened unless we'd lived together for a while in 2020 and gone through some shit.
We went through some hard things. We had hard conversations. We started this.
We did. Yeah, if we go back to like our first video, we're gonna be like, wow, we're haggard.
Yeah,
we were haggard.
I love the idea.
It was like June 2020, I think, when we made our first video.
Yeah, because it was closer to summertime. Oh my god, that's cute.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah. Oh, I love that reflection. I'm just like, wow, yeah, that was 2018 is when I asked the universe. I go, I can't work in an office anymore. I'm fucking miserable. I got out of a rough relationship, but it was like still doing work. You know, I'm like, I just got into authentic relating. I think right before the pandemic was like, oh my God, I found community and to snuggle and doing all this stuff and the soirees and shit. And I'm just like, this is what this means. Oh my God. And so I had this openness to all of these resources. I think that's the first time I did coaching as well. Beginning of 2019 was when I moved in with two fabulous people who, I don't know if they want to be named or not, so I'm leaving out.
Yeah.
That changed my life. And I haven't worked really a full-time job since. Like I've worked 12-hour days, but not all year. So that's a huge fucking shift, and just actually starting to look at my art. It's taken the last 3 years going through an ayahuasca journey, going to Guatemala, getting homeless, finding a house with you, having weird shit happen from the universe. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? And then having these highs and lows. I quit cigarettes 3 times, twice. I think it was in the past 4 years. I think it was 3 times.
I think you did it in 2020 in the Tillamook house.
Yes.
And then 2022 in the family house. And I don't know in between. I thought there was one more time.
Yeah, I thought there was possibly one more. So I can go back to my old journals. So yeah, I am so proud of myself. Oh, I showed up.
You did. You really did. Like so much. Over and over.
I'm allowing myself to cry. I'm allowing myself to feel.
Yeah.
And God, is it hard? I heard this today from my brother who's been helping me out, of like that shit that happens to us, that stuff that we've repressed, especially as children, especially just to survive. When that stuff finally comes up because we slow down. I mean, it makes sense. The reasons why we speed up is like to safeguard ourselves from having all that shit train hitting us. You know, we're totally outrunning it. And but the beauty is, it's almost like we ate something and it's stuck in our intestines. We can't vomit it up. Sometimes we try. Sometimes it does. It's like gross, but we need to digest it. Because it's like something's been stuck in our intestines and it's like it's festering. And one of the hardest things is understanding that, and then learning how, and then getting guidance, and then fucking up, and then maybe getting bad guidance, and then feeling good about yourself, and then falling down, and then learning that progress isn't linear, and what the hell is normal, and how do humans work exactly. You were told yes, just like that. So I am very proud of myself, of you, of everybody else, just existing, because this is hard. Yeah, and then I'll add a video. It's a 5-minute one. It's 5 minutes about bravery, and it covers some of the stuff. But what I'm calling in is also, I'd say, consistency. No, what comes out? Okay, what comes up? This is cool. Because I'm like, well, that's not quite it, but I like it. It's jumping off of that. It's like, it's a reminder. May we be reminded more often and over again to get back to right here and right now. And if I can't get back to right here and right now, what's up? What's in the way? Am I cranky? Am I tired? Me feeling really angry at an old friend? Is that really just me needing to drink some water? Take a nap, go to sleep, and to give myself that action. So I feel like we're both on a very similar wavelength. We have this action piece, the baby steps that are actually doable. We're staying in our window of tolerance so we don't re-traumatize ourselves, because we did that a lot. It's okay to fuck up. Progress is spiral, something. I'm sure there's other bumper sticker stuff in there, and that's it.
And the only thing I would add, just as you're thinking about this, just to be extra clear, is like calling in not only the repeat and the often reminders, but the gentle. like gentle, sweet, like coming from love. Like sometimes, there's tough love, but it doesn't have to come in the form of owie contrast.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Actually, what's been really cool, I'm just going to add this as a little side note and then be finished. Thank you. I went over too. Is that I have been working on reframing how I'm interacting with myself.
Yeah.
All day, every day. Sometimes I forget and then I remember. And so internal family systems, that therapy work has just been like being able to just like put this angry part of me right here, see that it comes from me being 3 years old. Like the trauma work is finally starting to work through. My nervous system is finally coming down. And so I'm noticing this change in how I talk to myself and how vital that is. And so I now don't react as heavy unless I'm hungry or tired or whatever to the negative stuff that comes up. It still comes up, but it's not as loud. The intensity feels like it has a little bit more space to work with. I'm slowing down the tornado. So fuck yes, absolutely. Gentleness, learning how to love ourselves, how to remove such of the toxic self-talk. Like we need love. We really do need encouragement. Oh, like you're fucking awesome. Look what you did. Look what all this stuff that you've done over the years. Like that's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that like I resonate with a lot of it too, because you're an example of a woman that I see flourishing and figuring it out, but also being human and being challenged. So thank you for existing and sharing your whole rainbow.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing your processing. Hard processing.
Just real quick before we hop off, I love how I remember last year there was this huge Gabor Mate like fan, like waves and waves of, oh my God, have you heard about Gabor Mate? Like he's amazing. He's talking about this and he's doing that. Wow. Like everybody was in love with him. Now I just hear internal family systems like every couple of days. I shit you not.
That's
so it's
hysterical.
Like, yeah.
Oh my
and
God.
so maybe that's like the natural evolution is like an introduction through Gabor Mate and then I'm going to learn internal family systems.
Who knows what's going to come after that? Like, I'm glad I'm on the
You're on the train, man.
It's like, it is. Oh God. You know what? Opportunity is like a moon coming by. It's like train comes by, opens up. You want to get on? Nope. Okay. Well, it's going to come around next moon. It's like, and sometimes you're like, it's going to rain in between, but the train's going to come. Opportunities will always come. Just get on the train. Okay. Anyway, thank you.
Okay. Thanks for being on the receiving end. We're done.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.